My nervous system needs to know that there's a way to move through the situation. My nervous system needs to know that there's a way to escape. I'm going to use the word escape, but it's really that there's a way to show up for myself, to be in self agency, to act on my own behalf. So I want to know where the escape routes are. And as a dad, I'm incredibly excited to be included. I'm really proud of my daughter. She's worked really hard. It's been wonderful watching her grow and change. And I will say that parental alienation has been with us every step of the way. Hi, my name is Lawrence Johnson. Welcome to the Family Disappeared podcast. So it's graduation time. We got kids, grandkids, other family members, other folks in our lives graduating, and it's a really charged time of year. It's a time for celebration, a time for acknowledgement, a time to be proud of our kids or grandkids or other family members, whether we have contact or not. And who would have thought as a parent or as a grandparent or a family member that we could possibly not be invited to graduation, or maybe be invited to graduation but not be included, or maybe be invited to graduation and have to navigate the family system and the intricacies of what that is, and how do we show up? That is a challenging question. So today I'm going to take you on a little private journey of my own. Today is Tuesday, June 11th. My daughter graduates on the 15th, on Saturday. So I'm going to share a little bit about what that's like. I'm going to tape half of the episode before the graduation, the other half of the episode after the graduation. And hopefully it'll be useful and something interesting to follow, and definitely feeling uncomfortable because I have no idea what's going to happen. We're both we're both part of the show, and neither of us, any of us, no one really knows what's going to happen. So if you're new to the community, welcome to the community. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We support family members, anyone that's estranged, alienated, or race disconnected from other family members, parents, grandparents, kids, young adults, anyone. This community is for all the stakeholders. We have a free 12-step meeting, which is a support group. There's 18, 19 meetings a week on Zoom. If you want to be part of that, there's a link in the show notes. Come by and check it out. There's a meeting for young adults and adults that are alienated or have been previously alienated from their parents, grandparents, other family members. And then there's meetings for parents and grandparents and other family members that might be alienated from their kids or grandkids or nieces, nephews, any other family members. And there's a plethora of other resources in the show notes. So stick around. This should be interesting, hopefully useful, but I don't know. Okay, let's jump in and see what happens. So I have three daughters. My oldest daughter graduated college maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was not invited to the graduation. She graduated in California, and I went to the graduation with my mother and my sister, and we stood on the side and kind of like hid. And I saw her walk with her boyfriend at that time, and I listened to the keynote, and God, it was painful and hard. And at the same time, I thought I was doing the right thing, staying out of her way, letting her have the day, not triggering anyone, respecting her wishes. Was that the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do? I'm not 100% sure. Time might tell. I think maybe I need another 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 years. I don't know. One day, hopefully, I reconnect with my oldest daughter, and I can really find out the impact about respecting her wishes. But it was hard. And for me, I used whatever coping mechanisms I had at the time, and had a lot of community in place. I reached out to a lot of people. I ate a lot of sugar, which isn't useful, but it's what I had. It was the best that I could do. And here I find myself several years later with my youngest daughter graduating on Saturday, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in the show and see what happens. So let's jump on in. So I wasn't sure if I was going to get invited to my youngest daughter's graduation, or if I got invited, if I would go. So there's been a lot of stuff going through my mind, and I've been talking to friends and mentors and other people that I respect, and I am part of a 12-step fellowship that is incredibly supportive, and I've been sharing what my path kind of looks like, and I have a lot of recovery and I have a lot of tools and I have a lot of resources and I feel really grounded and in a really good place. And I came up with this idea. It was probably a month or two ago, and I let my daughter know, like, what would you like? What does graduation look like? Because I did get invited, right? So I did get invited to graduation, and I'm like, what does this look like for you? What kind of support would you like? What do you need from me? Like, I'm really trying to center her experience, because this really is about her. It's not about my hurt feelings. It's not about my fear. And there's a lot of fear. My oldest daughter might be there. Actually, I'm pretty sure my oldest daughter is going to be there with her now husband. They got married maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I haven't really spent any time with her in 8 or 9 years. I saw her one time for 2 or 3 minutes in that time. And I actually went and found out where she lived and basically met her on the street and spent 2 or 3 minutes with her. And yeah, she said if she ever wanted any kind of contact, she'd reach out to me. And I didn't react. I didn't do anything. I just said, okay, I get it. I get that's what you want. You want space and time. And it doesn't make any sense to me. And at the same time, her lived reality is real, and she wants space from me, and she doesn't feel like she necessarily wants to have anything to do with me. And is that true now? Is that not true now? It feels like it's true. And at the same time, I don't know really what's going on in her life. So I'm going to definitely have some kind of contact to see her and her husband. So I'm definitely scared. I don't know what's going to happen, and my middle daughter might be there with her husband and potentially two grandkids that I've never met. So that's a whole can of worms. I love my daughters and I want to be part of their lives, and I'm emotionally and spiritually available, and I'm here, and that doesn't necessarily get mirrored back. And I'm sure they don't feel support from me either. I'm not negating whatever their experience of me is, but I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm getting anxious. I fly out tomorrow to Southern California to go to the graduation on Saturday, and I'm not feeling really good. My grand plan that I came up with, because my youngest daughter didn't necessarily have a plan, is I said, hey, I'm going to spend a little bit of time with you before your graduation, and then I will leave your apartment and your mom can come and she can spend time and walk you down. And then after graduation, I'll just leave and wait outside until we go out to dinner, because we're going to go to dinner after the graduation. And whoever's there from the family can come on the stage and give you flowers and say whatever. You know what I mean? And I really felt like that was a really great way to take care of myself and also to center my daughter and her experience and stuff like that. And like 3 weeks ago, I'm like, huh, like, is that the best thing? Am I acting out of fear? Am I acting out of self-preservation and maybe going to miss an opportunity to be really present for my daughter and really, really center her, not pretend like I'm centering her? So, I asked her what she's thinking about the plans and said, hey, I'd really like to be part of everything. And I feel comfortable now about sharing space. And before I hadn't, I was scared. And I said some silly stuff to her about her mother, which wasn't good. And I made an amends for it and I cleaned it up, but it doesn't make it any better. Like I consider myself an alienated parent, but the alienator is in me too. And I say negative stuff about my ex partner sometimes, and it's really crappy and it's not useful. And my daughter gets put in the middle. And when we're having that conversation, she said, I just want to be a normal kid. I just want to be able to take a picture with my mom and dad. And that really kind of like broke down a lot of my defenses and strategies. And I'm like, oh, wow. She just wants to take a picture with her mom and dad. Like, how cool is that? So I rethought through the plan and I re-engaged my daughter and said, hey, I'd really like to be part of stuff, and I'm fine sharing space with your mom and whatever else comes up, and I'm going to send to you, and is that okay? And she's like, yeah, I want you to be part of stuff, and I'm okay with that. And that was about 3 weeks ago. And as the conversation's progressing, she's definitely getting more anxious about the day. It's a lot of pressure for a young lady, and it's a lot of pressure that's coming at her in different directions, whether it's intended or unintended. Like, I don't intend to give her any kind of pressure, but having me in her space and these other folks in her space creates pressure. And I can acknowledge that to her, and I can say, hey, what do you need from me? And as time's getting a little bit closer, she's not sure how the day is going to go, and she's not sure what she's going to need, and she's thinking she's want to keep that she's going to want to keep some separation, and I think that's awesome. And I think that's awesome that she can communicate it with me and tell me that's what she's thinking. And I think it's also awesome that I'm doing my own recovery work and that I have the vocabulary to check in with her. How are you feeling? What is it that you're needing? And when she says something to me, I'm able to reflect it back to her. Oh, you're scared, you're anxious, you're not really sure what you want. And I'm able to be really specific and say, this is your day. Please let me know what you need from me. I'm here to support you. And I'm willing to step back, and I'm also resourced enough to step forward if there's space for that, if there's space to show up and just hold that emotional space as a mature adult that's not looking for my daughter to regulate my nervous system or take care of me or look over her shoulder to see if I'm okay. Like, I'm coming in resourced and I have a plan. So for anyone out there that's going to a graduation or is in a really sticky situation and doesn't really know what to do, have a plan. You know what I mean? Like, I have some trusted people in my life that they know that I'm going to be at the graduation between a specific time, and they're available for me to text them or call them. And if I'm feeling uncomfortable at the graduation or there's something going on, I'm not going to white knuckle it. I'm going to excuse myself and take care of myself, make a telephone call, take a short walk, take some breaths, come back if that's the next indicated step, or just wait outside, you know? So yeah, I'm concerned, I'm scared, I'm curious, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm recording this on a podcast, which might seem silly and it might come across really cool and useful. And I'm not sure. And if you're a parent or a grandparent or anyone else there and you're going to graduation or have been to graduation over the last month, I hope it went well. I'd love to hear from you. Comment, let us know what your experience was, share some victories, share some challenges. Maybe we can have some communication through the comments on YouTube or whatever other channel you follow us on, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, and let's talk about these experiences, because this is a rough time. And I never imagined graduation would be this complex and complicated. Like, I'm like, hey, dinner, laughter, celebration, acknowledgement, go to bed and move on. And I don't know. I feel my body tensing up. I'm starting to get some physical pain coming in. Emotionally, I'm a little bit, I wouldn't say all over the board, but I'm very aware that I can feel that low tier of anxiety in my body. So what am I going to practice at graduation? I'm going to use the NVC that I've been working on for several years. And if anyone new to the show, NVC is nonviolent communication. There'll be stuff in the show notes if you want to check out what MVC is. And MVC is really an empathetic form of communication. So when I do engage my daughter or any other stakeholders, other daughters, it's really about empathy, and it's about stepping back from that really prickly, intense personal space and kind of meeting people where they are. You know what I mean? And I think that gives me an opportunity not to make a mess, is practicing that skill. I'm also going to practice reaching out to people and asking for help. And I'm going to reach out to people and ask people for help that I know that are resourced. And there's certain people in my life that I'm going to have these kind of conversations with. And there's other people that are going to give me a negative feedback loop. Oh, it'll be okay. Whatever they're going to put in. I don't need that in my life. I need people that are going to be able to hear me and hear, oh, wow, you're in a lot of pain. You're scared. You're not sure what to do. And just love me where I'm at. I'm not going to reach out to people that need to fix me or change my situation. I just want to reach out to people that can just kind of like hold me and catch me. So I have that set up. I have the capacity to excuse myself from a situation if it's not feeling good and go take a walk. Right. And I have the capacity to, let my youngest daughter have her experience and also say, hey, I'm feeling like I need to go take care of myself and I'm going to meet you out by the car. Have fun. Text me when you're done. Right. And those seem like really silly, benign strategies, but they're really incredibly important. Where I sit is important. How do I get out of the bleachers or something like that? If I have to take care of myself, I don't want to be tied in with no escape route. Like, my nervous system needs to know that there's a way to move through the situation. My nervous system needs to know that there's a way to escape. I'm going to use the word escape, but it's really that there's a way to show up for myself, to be in self-agency, to act on my own behalf. So I want to know where the escape routes are. And as a dad, I'm incredibly excited to be included. I'm really proud of my daughter. She's She's worked really, really, really hard. It's been wonderful watching her grow and change. And I will say that parental alienation has been with us every step of the way. There's this vortex that I watch these young people, and they're caught in this vortex. They look one way and they see a bottle of red liquid, right? And then they look the other way and it's a bottle of orange liquid. And these liquids are just two different worlds that they keep having to look at, and they're distorted, and neither one of them really line up. And this poor young person is just caught in the middle, and they just want to celebrate graduation, and they just want to celebrate with their family and take a picture. And I think it's as simple as that. So no, nothing else really important is coming up for me. Wish me luck. The second part of this one podcast will be what happens at graduation, how it pans out, what feelings come up for me, how I resource myself, what I can do better, what I could do worse, where I screwed up, where I didn't screw up. And if you're out there celebrating, good luck. Let us know what happens. And I was once talking to one of my teachers, and I was talking about my physical pain, and my emotional pain. And I was like, it's mine. It's I, me, it's my pain. And my teacher said it's a universal pain. It's a universal suffering. So this pain that I'm carrying into the graduation is part of the continuum of all the pain and all the suffering that we're all going through together. And that's kind of like a heady thought, but we're all struggling. And if we all take one next right action, then we all have one better chance. You know what I mean? And me taking a right action might not produce anything beneficial with my daughter, but me taking the next right action might produce something beneficial for someone else. So this is a universal pain, a universal struggle, and a universal healing. And the only way I believe that any of this can be healed is on a universal level, is on a community level, is us all doing the next indicated step. You know what I mean? I maybe I said the next right thing before, but I don't know. The next right thing is so convoluted, and one day it's right, and the next day maybe it wasn't a great thing. So it's just taking the next indicated step, even if that step isn't perfect. So I will see you soon. I will finish this other part of this episode in a week or so. I love you. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and good luck to everyone out there. See you soon. Hi, all. So we're actually editing together the first part of the graduation, pre going out to graduation, and now the graduation has already happened. My youngest daughter's graduated, and I'm back home, and it's 3 days later after graduation, and what a journey! Like, I didn't know what it was going to be like, and really scared and anxious going out. So I got out to Southern California, and I just want to share this first part. I was going out for my daughter's graduation, and I was also going out for my little brother's graduation, and I might have mentioned this before on the first part of the show. And my little brother is through Big Brothers and Big Sisters, which is a nationwide nonprofit, and has been such an incredibly important relationship in my life, and has led to so much healing. And if you're struggling out there and you don't have access to your parents, grandparents, you don't have access to your kids or your grandkids, like, this is a wonderful organization that gives you an opportunity to have meaningful relationships with folks. And I have this young man in my life that I've had now for about 7 years, and I just wanted to be of service. I was in a lot of pain. I didn't know what to do. So whenever I'm in a lot of pain, I'm of service. Like that. That's what helps me get out of myself. So I started spending an hour a week with this young man, and it was a little challenging at first, and then we started to get to know each other, and we started to form some trust, and I got an opportunity to nurture a young person, and that's what I thought was happening. But what also happened is this young man nurtured me too, appreciated me, enjoyed having me around, and we're at the point of our relationship now where he calls me Abba, which is father, and tells me that he loves me, and I tell him that I love him. And we have some wonderful, wonderful experiences, and I have a really great connection with these two younger siblings. And I have this whole new family. It's really a cool thing, and it's such a place to heal. And he's receptive to love. And as I'm challenged with my relationships in my own family, I don't love my kids any less, and I don't miss them any less, but I still get to, like, play with those parts of myself that are so important. So I went to his graduation on the Thursday, which was a couple days before my daughter's graduation. And it was wonderful to see him graduate and how proud he was of himself and how much he's changed. Like I haven't been able to track my kids the last 6, 7, 8 years. I don't even know what's going on in their life, but I'm tracking this young man, and it's magical and magnificent, and what a great honor to be part of his life. So if you're struggling and you don't know any way through, be of service. Try out Big Brothers and Big Sisters. It's a wonderful organization. Find a different way to participate and transform the pain. Because I'm not sure if I'm going to have a relationship with my two oldest kids. I don't know when that will or won't change for them. I'm always available. I'm still parenting. This is part of my parenting, is volunteering and having a new son in my life. It's really cool. So that graduation was great, and going into his graduation, I was really anxious and uncomfortable, and my body was starting to hurt, and the tension was building up. And thank God I have all these different practices that I'm working on, because I got to be really present and have a great time with them. And what a joy! What a joy and ease. And then my daughter's graduation, wow. Like the build up for that, it just kept getting more intense. Like I haven't seen my two oldest kids for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, whatever it is. And going into the graduation and planning on being in the same space as them, and not really not knowing how it was going to go down, and really really running a lot of scenarios through my heads, talking to a lot of different people, preparing myself to show up at the graduation so I could be of service and not make it about myself, but still take care of myself. So really thinking about like what's my plan, knowing what time I was going to show up at my daughter's apartment, knowing if I was uncomfortable that it's okay to just say, hey, I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to take care of myself. I'll see you in a little bit. I asked her best friend and to sit with me and see if that would be okay. And I didn't get an answer straight away, but he said, yeah, I'd love to sit with you. So I had all this build up, and I didn't really know what the plan one was, and there wasn't a lot of clarity, and so many of those negative messages started coming up, like I'm a bad person, I'm a bad dad, I'm not worth it, like all those icky feelings coming up. You know what I mean? Like I had to really screwed up for my kids not to talk to me or not want me in their life. And those are just interruptions. They wanted to pull me away from being present and being available for my daughter and centering my daughter. So if you're going to graduation, being to graduation, have another seminal event coming up, like these different ideas that come in saying you're bad, or that you have to do this or that has to happen. I call them interruptions, and my teachers have given me those words, that they want to interrupt me being present in my body, being available, being kind, and it was really weirdly wicked and sinister and gross and sticky, watching all these things come up for me, and hard and super anxiety provoking. So I think the night before, my daughter let me know that, hey, you're going to come to my apartment. We're going to hang out for a little bit, and then you're going to go to wait for me at the pavilion where the graduation is, and then my mom and my siblings are going to walk me to graduation. And that was great. My nervous system took a breath, and I thought we were all going to walk together or spend some time together, but it was great that there was a plan, and that she communicated a plan with me. It was really neat to see her take ownership of that, because she was feeling really anxious and uncomfortable and wasn't sure what to expect. And what a crappy position for a young person that's graduating to be in these two different camps and trying to modulate and regulate and herself and other people around her, and not really knowing what's going to happen, and just wanting her parents to be there and have a good graduation. So I walk over with her best friend, and we get to it's an indoor basketball court, and we find some seats and we sit down, and I have the most wonderful 3-hour conversation with this young man. And we talk about spirituality. We talked about God. We talked about recovery. There's a lot of 12-step in his family. And as you know, we have a free 12-step program, which is just a life affirming program and a great place to build a foundation to move forward in your life. And we had these wonderful conversations. Spoke about his relationship with my daughter, and it felt really, really, really good. And I just came in with the idea that I really wanted to see my other kids and be around my other kids, and that's where I was going to get fed, and that's where I was going to get nurtured, and there was such a longing to get that, and then I have this transformational experience with this young man, and I get so many needs met, and he's available, and he's curious, and he's enjoy having a conversation with me, and I'm enjoying being in his presence, and it was cool. And then we're sitting there, and they have like a jumbotron because we're in an indoor basketball court where the ceremony was, and the jumbotron is just kind of like the big TVs that are hanging in the middle of the thing, and my children, their partners, and my ex appear on the jumbotron, and they're all smiling and having a great time. And I haven't seen my one daughter for 5 years and my other daughter for 9 years, and they look different. They look more mature. They look older, and my heart sunk and got nauseous, and my body got hot, and I started to sweat, and I'm like, God, it was hard to see him. It was hard to see him on the jumbotron, and they're all smiling and happy, and I'm erased. I'm not any part of that stuff, and it was heartbreaking. And I shared that with the young gentleman when I was with, and we spoke about it, and he listened, and it was very sweet. And I didn't need anyone to fix or change anything. I just wanted to share that that really hurt. And then they came up on the jumbotron again, and man, it was hurtful, and yet I was watching my daughter's graduation, and she waved at us and acknowledged us, and we're silly. We got to the place where she was, all the people were leaving, and we were yelling at her and saying congratulations, and it was really sweet. And then graduation was done, and yeah, it was hard to get to that point, and then it was done, and then we're walking out, and we're supposed to go meet everyone and take pictures. So we happened to see my daughter, and we're with her, and I'm like, hey, you two run along and take pictures, and when you're done, just let me know and I'll meet you and we can take some pictures. So I intentionally opted out of going to meet the whole family to take the pictures, and I stepped back. And I stepped back to take care of myself because I didn't want to put myself in that position. I didn't want to put myself in that position of just deep longing and wanting something for my kids and wanting something magical, and knowing that in that kind of environment, it's highly charged. Everyone had to have anxiety come into it and stuff going on, and it wouldn't have been useful. And I didn't want to put myself in that situation. And in stepping back, I was able to see the humanity in my daughter, and she's just trying to get through the day. And there was no reason to put anyone in that situation, even though the intention and the plan was to see my kids, and it wasn't necessary. And they went on and took their pictures, and I made some telephone calls to resource myself. And one person I was talking to was saying, like, maybe you missed an opportunity, maybe something magical would have happened. And I heard that, and I've had some guilt and some shame and thinking maybe I made the wrong decision, but I didn't. I made the best possible decision I could have made in that point, and could have a miracle have happened? Maybe. Would that have been the environment for it? I don't think so. There's just too many personalities and too many emotions, and no way to really attune and drop in with one person and create any significant healing. And I will say, and I didn't create any additional harm. I didn't leak any of my emotions onto anyone. I didn't come in with some kind of longing for my kids to be something or our relationship to be something else. I stepped back and I took care of myself. I took some great pictures with my daughter and her friend, and we went out to dinner. I had some awesome tacos. Awesome tacos. I'm just going to spend a second here. We went to some place in Santa Monica, and I had like some jackfruit vegan tacos and some mushroom spicy tacos with sriracha and just and a banh mi taco. I know this has nothing to do with anything I'm talking about, but the food was really, really, really sweet, and what a great experience it was. And it was hard. And for anyone that's going through graduations and other seminal events, my heart goes out to you. There's no easy way to do this stuff, but I didn't create any harm. I showed up with the best version of me as I could. I took care of myself. I had boundaries. um, I didn't show up in places and put myself in harm's way. as I would have 2, 3, 4 years ago. 100%, I would have wanted to be in the center of it. It was my right. I needed to be there. Maybe something would happen, and I didn't have to do any of that stuff. And did I create some more space for more healing to happen? Maybe. Did I have an incredible time and have some wonderful conversations and get nurturing and love from people outside of my kids that I really want to connect with? I did. I did. And I was really present. And as I'm sitting here 3 days later, I also have an intense, intense emotional hangover. Seeing my kids on the Jumbotron for the first time in a lot of years is heartbreaking. And I got that picture stuck in my head, and I'm really going to have to work hard. I'm going to have to go to more meetings, talk to more people, journal more, meditate more, really work with that energy, because it's stuck in there and it doesn't feel good. And I feel dysregulated, and I'm talking about it, and I'm really clear about what happened. I'm clear about what's going on, and then I love my kids and I long to be in their life, and I'm a good man. I'm a good parent, and I made mistakes, and I continue to be a good person, and they're having their own experience, and they're doing the best that they can, and it's all heartbreaking. It's all heartbreaking. And amidst the heartbreak, there was some beautiful connection with my little brother and my daughter's best friend, and some random people along the trail that we got to chat with. So yeah, this is hard. Yeah, there is transformation. Hopefully, there's something different later on, but let's talk about the stuff. I want to hear about your graduation experiences. What was the most challenging things? How did you take care of yourself? What resources would you share with other people going through similar situations? Do you have a wonderful positive victory to share? Do you have a longing to share? Please go onto YouTube, Facebook, let us know, send us an email at familydisappeared@gmail.com. We want to hear your stories. These are things we need to be talking about, and there's not enough positive outlets where you can be heard and seen and understood. So that's a lot out of me. Like, share, come join the community. We'd love to have you as part of the community. And yeah, I'm feeling a little melancholy as I'm wrapping up here, and just want to let you know, if no one's told you yet today, I love you. Yeah, I love you. You know what I mean? And I love myself, and I love myself. And parts of this graduation journey, it was difficult to love myself. I struggle with this stuff. Sometimes I can't love myself, and getting back into my body and getting back into my life and getting back into my right routine is difficult right this second. And I'm grateful to be here. I have a rich, wonderful, loving community, and I miss my kids. So I love you, girls. I miss you. You looked fantastic. It was wonderful to see your faces, to see you with your partners, to see you laughing, and it was hard. So have a beautiful day, everyone out there. I hope this was useful. I'm not quite sure how this podcast will land, so I'd love to hear that. And if it's useful, we can do more stuff like this. If it's not useful, let me know that too. I'd love to know. And thank you. Thank you. And I will see you around the neighborhood. Bye bye.